you know, that's, the parliament today is like a high school. You are almost 450 people seated in one place.
And no experience.
You know. So for us, the people who went to parliament that time, I must brag, were smart people. And they were people smart, qualified, and experienced. So I supported him to become a member of parliament, which he did in 2002. But politics being what it is, when we gave him this, the first thing when we later on came to trade, we told him every 3 months you'll be coming to report to us because we had a committee. But after 3 months, he came back to us and told me, you guys, you are not the ones who are elected as a member of parliament of Emuhaya. So you leave me do my work, You do your work, I'm the one who is elected.
Alhamisi nyingine katika Mfahamu Kiongozi, where we get to hear stories from different leaders across the nation. Na hii leo niko katika kaunti ya Vihiga ambapo nimekuja kusikia story ya kigavana wa kaunti hii anafahamika kama Daktari Wilber Ottichilo, kusikia story na historia yake. And any other leader you'd like me to look for, kumbuka kutuma arafa kwa 22047 na mitandao ya kijamii, kisha mimi na crew yangu nitamtafuta. Jina langu ni Liz Mutuku, andamana nami hadi tamati. Let's go. Hello, Governor.
Hey, karibu.
Asante sana.
Karibu nyumbani.
Asante sana.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Asante.
This is my home.
Yes.
In Kasala village.
Kasala inamaanisha nini?
Kasala village is a village within a Manyinya sub-location.
Yes.
Tongoi location, yes. West Bunyore, East Central Bunyore.
Na una nyumba nzuri, una boma nzuri tu.
This is my original home, and this home I built it way back before even I became a member of parliament, before I became a governor. And I love the home and I've maintained it. I didn't want to do any changes because I wanted just to remain the original
This
way.
is where you were born?
This is where I was born. This is my home, but where I was born is at the back of this house. My parents are just at the end of this farm.
Yes.
If we were to go through the main road you came through, you'll get my parents' home.
Take me through childhood memories. We are going back down memory lane.
Well, it's been a long time.
Yes.
And I've been around for quite some time.
Yes.
But I can tell you that I was born in this village some 70 years ago.
70 good years ago.
70 years ago. And I was born, my mother and was called Jemima Omuka, and my father was called Wellington Omuka.
Yes.
And they brought us up. We are 7.
Yes.
We were born 7 of us.
Are you all alive?
6 of us are alive.
That's a grace.
5 girls, 2 girls, and 5 boys. And so we only lost our 4th born son. But otherwise, the rest of us are there. And of course, unfortunately, my parents passed over way back. My father passed over in 1981.
Yes.
And my mother passed over in 2008. Yeah. But after being born here, I schooled up in a primary school, just not far away from where it's about 1 kilometer called Manyinya Primary School. And I was there. From that school, I qualified and went to Msire High School.
What was your dream? What was your dream then while you were growing up?
My dream when I was growing up, I wanted to become an agriculturist. I loved agriculture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really loved agriculture. And even when I was a young person, in primary school and secondary school, I had my own farm. I used to grow cabbages and sell them.
While in high school?
Yes, in high school.
Yeah.
Even in primary, from primary to high school.
You are a business person?
Yes, I was growing my own, even my first shoes, my first, nice clothes, I bought them from my agricultural production.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I loved also nature. In fact, I was the first person, a young person, high school, to plant sesbania. This is a tree that is that adds nitrogen into the soil, and I grew it in this farm of mine. And from there, I also was the first person to grow pawpaws. We had a factory here when I was young at Kambogi, which was processing pawpaws into papain, and papain was being used in medicine. So I was the first person to grow pawpaws here. The whole of this farm here, I grew pawpaws, and we were able to do that. And then finally, I love nature. That
means your childhood was not a difficult one, because already you were doing a business.
No, it was not difficult. Most of my good things, in fact, even my first small hand radio, I bought it when I was in high school through my small businesses. Yeah. But what I love the most, and I still love most, is nature, conservation, and trees.
It can tell from the trees which are in this
That's why
compound.
if you look at my farm there, it's all trees. I have another small piece of land my father gave me as inheritance. This I bought. I have also left it for forest. So I loved nature.
When everyone is chasing cattle, yours, it was nature.
Nature and agriculture.
So when you went to university, what did you pursue?
No, from Msira High School, I scored first division.
Oh my goodness. That means you are brilliant.
Those days to be scored first division, it was in the newspaper, it was everywhere. Then from there, I went to Kagumo High School in Nyeri. That's where I did my Form 5 and Form 6. And my interest was to focus on agriculture. So from Kagumo, when I did my Form 5 and Form 6, I qualified to go to Makerere University.
From this village?
Yes, from this village.
Now you...
Where I was just walking barefoot to go to, when I went to secondary school, I had no shoes. We were just walking on this there in mud, measuring the temperature of the ground.
Enjoying.
And enjoying, you know. And so I went from Kagumo, I went to Makerere University, where I did agricultural science. And unfortunately, we didn't finish. That's the time when we had Idi Amin. So we were transferred to Nairobi, and I finished my training in Nairobi. And from there, I was employed directly to agriculture.
This first job, how much did you earn?
That time my salary was 1,460.
Yes, 1,460.
Yes, as a graduate.
It was a lot of money?
That money was a lot.
How long did you do this business? Even as you're taking me around this beautiful compound.
So from the agriculture, I worked in agriculture, in the Department of Agriculture. I went to National Agricultural Laboratories because I loved science. I loved science and creating knowledge. So I was in National Agricultural Laboratories at Kabete. And I specialized in plant pathology.
Plant pathology.
Plant pathology is a doctor of plants. Pathology is a person who learns diseases that affect crops and how to deal with those crops. So that's one area where I did, and I specialized. There are many diseases for plants.
Were you married all this time?
No, I wasn't. No, I was not.
When did you get married?
I got married somewhere around 1983. 1981. Let me tell you how I met her. You know, after I worked in agriculture for about 1.5 years, in 1979, there was a job that was advertised in the papers. That there was a new program that was going to carry out research in all the wildlife areas of Kenya and in the entire country to create a database for planning purposes. So I got so much interested in that particularly, and they said that there was going to be a lot of flying, a lot of mapping, and I really loved traveling and moving around. So I saw this was an opportunity because in the agriculture I was in the laboratory with the microscopes from morning to evening. Now
you are getting an opportunity.
Now, this is a job. And they were offering a better salary. So I applied. And I didn't expect them to give me, but I was surprised. I was called. I went for the interview. It was a Canadian-funded project.
Yes.
And part of World Bank was also there. So they called me. I went and did the job. By the way, when I went, I didn't want actually the job. I loved my job as an agriculturist. But somehow, fate has it, when you don't like something, is somehow is when you get it. So I went there and I was given the job.
You can show me around. We have a glass of a cup of water, or even a glass of water, and then we'll proceed.
Okay. So.
All this brilliant career, all these achievements, how are you balancing this family?
There it was a little bit, there was a little disconnect because most of the time I was out.
Yes.
Most of the time, you know, this type of work I'm telling you, it's a busy guy.
Yes.
Most of the time I'm
a career person.
A career guy. Yes. I have gone to all conferences, name it.
In the world.
Yeah.
Like how many countries have you traveled?
I don't know, but there must be more than 60 or 70. Yeah, but I've been almost in every corner of this planet. I've been virtually everywhere. Yeah. So on the family side, I can tell you it suffered.
Yes.
Because I was most of the time out. But I had a very nice wife, very humble, nice wife.
You had how many kids?
We had 3, and I've shown you. I'll show you in the. So we agreed with her that she would take care of the children and do everything, but for me, most of the time I was traveling. So the connect between me and the family was a little bit not good. I didn't have time to be with them. But I can tell you, anytime I had a chance when I came, I took them for holiday, we took to Mombasa, even one day, I took them to Netherlands, I took them to Dubai, just during holidays, it's December, just to compensate.
Yeah, they lost time.
Yeah, because I was having all this nice time, but they're at home. So once in a while when I come, I tell them now, come, let's go. Yeah. But all the same, my wife, my late wife, was beautiful. I'm very honored. But you can see her photograph here.
Yes.
And you can see her grave is just across here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So family-wise, I did very well, and I can tell you also my children did very well. Yeah. My elder son has took over my profession. He did bachelor's, master's, and he has a degree, a PhD. Again in GIS, geoinformation.
I wish you see how brilliant, how happy you are feeling when you're saying this.
Yeah. So my son is now he's now a senior lecturer at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. So he's there. He's a senior lecturer, and he's doing exactly some of the things I was doing. And I actually influenced him when he saw what I was doing, and so he got interested. My daughter was not very interested in science. So she was more interested in money matters.
Of course, everyone has to choose a path.
So she took commerce, and she did BCom, and then afterwards she worked with the KPMG. She worked in many organizations, and then she also went for masters at Strasbourg in forensic audit. Yeah, so she's a forensic auditor. My last boy, he also did BCom, and for him, he didn't want even more learning. He wanted business.
Yes.
So again, he got into business. He's in the hospitality industry, and he's doing extremely well in the hospitality
Everyone has a path.
Yeah.
But then with this brilliant career, with all these accolades, and here you are, you decided to take politics again.
Yeah. So now...
What pushed you?
Now, what pushed me into politics is that I felt anytime when I had all this, anytime I wanted to come to this home, to arrive here was impossible. There was no road. And let me tell you, Bunyore, which was then called Emuhaya, was a place that was, in its own world. It was like an abandoned community. There were no roads. No roads. And a community where there are no roads, you could only use a bicycle here to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I felt like we needed this. Then also education. Our education in Bunyore was known to be the worst. And here, most of the people were more of just not going to school. You know, most of the young people would drop standard 4 and so. So I felt that. So I didn't want to come myself to politics. So I wanted a leader who could do that. And that's how myself and Kenneth Marende, we were friends. We even went to high school together at Kagumo. So, and him was a lawyer, and then he was practicing in Mombasa. So he indicated that he would want to be. So I said, I'll sponsor him. So I supported him to become a member of parliament, which he did in 2002. And that time there was a CDF, this famous CDF. Yeah. So I expected, we sat down, because I'm an academician, we sat down I brought all the professionals from Bunyore. And there are so many in this country, in this community, there are so many. I brought them together and we did a strategic plan. The first ever strategic plan that was ever produced in this community. We did, and we gave it to Marende. We said, go and implement. But politics being what it is, when we gave him this, the first thing when we later on came to trade, we told him, every 3 months you'll be coming to report to us, because we had a committee. But after 3 months, he came back to us and told me, you guys, you are not the ones who are elected as a member of parliament of Emuhaya. So you let me do my work, You do your work, I'm the one who is elected. So he threw us in under the bus. Yeah.
Together with your committee.
My committee. So my committee was so annoyed. So annoyed that I'm the one who brought all of them. And then now...
He feels like he's...
So they told me, you will be the only one. This strategic plan, we spent so much time. You will be the only one who will implement. And therefore, you must decide to go to implement. We will not trust anybody else. I can tell you, when I became a member of parliament in 2008, my agenda was to implement my strategic plan. And that's what I did. Open roads. If you ask people in this county, they will tell you the best thing I've ever done to this community is opening roads. And I can tell you can go anywhere. I opened roads everywhere. Education. Most of the primary schools here were primary schools mud and even grass touched. I removed all those. I built permanent houses. So all these schools I put, new permanent infrastructure. 2013, the election of 2013, I can tell you I never campaigned. I was just seated here.
Because you are done.
People already ambia, don't waste it campaigning, because there's nobody easy to campaign against. The guy who was next to me in the campaign, and Mwalimu is here, my political, got only 2,000 votes when I was getting over 20,000. There was no competition. Yeah. So in my second term, I also did a lot of work. But I'm proud of second term because as a member of parliament, I did so many legislation, bills. I brought in parliament a lot of bills, all these scientific bills, you see. You know, there was no scientists in parliament that time, the period I was there. I was the one who brought in our science in parliament. And all these bills you will see today, whether it's environment, whether it is science or technology, all these bills I brought in. Even these famous things people fight about, GMO. GMO is a science. It's a science on how to increase production.
And your background allowed that.
Yeah. And that's what I had. I know it in agriculture. So I brought, we midwifed a biosafety bill with Professor Alwenye. We brought it in to say, how do you manage GMO? All these things are there. The famous climate change. You know, I'm the one who brought in climate change. Without me in parliament, nobody knew about climate change.
And that is why God had allowed you in that space.
Yeah. So I can tell you my time in parliament, I did so much.
You don't regret being there?
Never, never. I did so much. And all these laws, when I look at them, even devolution laws. And that time, you know, we were just about 200 and 222 members of parliament. And we did all these laws. A committee would be, like I was in committee of education, all these basic education, laws and all these other laws in education. We were just 9 people.
Comparing parliament then and the parliament we have today, how do you see it?
You know, the parliament today is like a high school. You are almost 450 people seated in one place.
And no experience.
You know. So for us, the people who went to parliament that time, I must brag, were smart people. And they were people smart, qualified, and experienced. Today, most people who go to parliament are young people. They are not experienced. So, you know, experience is very important. Let not people underrate experience. You can have a first degree, you can have a PhD, but experience is very important. So the problem we are having in the parliament today, we have many members of parliament who are there who are not experienced. And what do I mean experienced? People who have worked in real situations and seen what the problem is.
Being in parliament and now you are in county, comparing the two, do you feel like you're giving much to the community more than it was then?
I have 2 things to say. I miss my academic, acumen.
Yes.
While I was in parliament, I used to use my academic, experience and qualification to do many things. Because in parliament, you are dealing with the policies, things that need a lot of thinking. You are interacting with a very high level. So that's what I miss when it comes to my intellectual exercise.
In county, you don't think that is
you know, in the county now you are dealing with the basics. You are dealing with the people who are hungry, people want to go to school, people who are sick.
And do you regret being in this space where you come
No,
from?
I don't regret. It's only that I'm just telling you, as from academic world, I always feel like I am...
You would have spent your brain much
My
better.
brain is like it's not used. It's equal to... Yeah. But now I'm dealing with the basics. But I can tell you, even the basics, I think we are doing very well.
Do you think you have the resources which are required in this county?
The resources are there at the national level. But it's only that the way the resources are devolved is the problem. Like, for example, health is a devolved function. But most of the money remains
in the county,
in the
national government.
I know agriculture is fully devolved, but the money remains, most of it is. So we are down here, what we are suffering from, we don't have the resources.
Lastly, the questions I'm asking, I need a one-word answer.
Yeah.
Your favorite
read, now that you are, favorite book which you've read?
I don't know which one you want, but I read only research books.
Your favorite meal? Meal.
Ugali and kuku and samaki. But the books I've read so many of them, mostly on management and science.
Your favorite day of the week?
My favorite day, I think, is on Sunday.
I want 3 achievements. When you look back, you say...
Let me tell you, 3 things that I've done that I'm proud of as a governor. And that's why I was re-elected. First, I have put systems in place, governance structures. When I got in as a governor, there were no structures. And you know, in leadership and running a government, structures are very important. So I put in structures. Second, I have now brought in the right human resource, the right people. When I got there, most of the people who are there were political appointees. People who didn't know anything. You find he's a director, but he doesn't know much. He's a director of agriculture, but he doesn't know anything. So I put those structures in place. So I have a good, well-functioning governing structure. I have put in performance management to make sure that people who are in the system are checked on what they do and they account for transparency and accountability. So that is one, which to me is the most important. The second is on education. I think I've done extremely well in education in this county. I started a governor's scholarship program for poor children who have done very well in their standard 8 exam and then they are taken to national schools, and they can't go.
Do you think counties can be compressed, as Raila is saying? Maybe to regions?
It is very good. And by the way, we have realized ourselves governors. And that's why we have already formed regions. We have the Lake Region Economic Bloc. We are 14 of us. We have the Rift Valley, Central Rift Valley Economic Bloc. We have the Northeastern Economic Bloc. We have the... So basically, even us as governors, we are seeing that when we are big, is when we can thrive. Is when we can maximize on the resources. But as small enclaves like Vihiga, small thing, we can't maximize on economics of scale. Yeah. So yes, I agree that we can be able to have a bigger, but the issue is one has to reorganize the whole structure. Because the only risk is that if you bring another layer there of regional, and again you employ people there, you are bringing another layer again of expenditure. So to me, I think we need to re-examine and see how best to do it. The third area where I'm very happy is on health. Despite health has so many problems in the country, not in Vihiga, in the country. But in this county, the last 8 years I've been here, I've done so much. I have built many health facilities which are working. When I came in, I put in, as of now, more than 30 health facilities which we have constructed, and they are working.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for allowing me to hear your story. It's a brilliant one.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I would achieve that in my lifetime, but let me see what I can do. Thank you so much for watching Mfahamu Kiongozi. Of course, this is a beautiful space where you get to hear all those beautiful stories from different leaders. Today it was His Excellency Governor Wilber Ottichilo, but another Thursday it's going to be another story, na bila shaka ni katika Mfahamu Kiongozi. Jina langu ni Liz Mutuku. Keep it TV 47.